Do you remember when you were in like basic high school biology lab and it was like intro to microscopes day and they would make you try and draw what you see in the microscope? Maybe like a plant cell or like an insect wing or something.
Yeah, we did like insect wings. Like you had to like they had it under and you had to draw. I'm really bad at drawing and that was like really ugly, but I did my best.
Yeah, same. Well, so today's woman not only spent hours creating beautiful and scientifically accurate illustrations of the microscopic world, she was a self-taught naturalist, an acclaimed author, and an astronomer, the sky people, in a time when women were mostly banned from professional science. This is the story of Mary Ward. She published a significant amount of work, all while raising 8 children.
That's so many.
I can't even imagine one, let alone 8. She holds the unfortunate, morbid distinction of also being the first person in the world known to have been killed in a motor vehicle accident.
Wasn't the first motor vehicle accident like they were going at like 25 miles an hour?
Save that thought for later.
I feel like I have like a weird collection of like random facts, and I like remember like the first like I don't know if this is in the US or not, but like I remember like the first like Ford crash was like 25 miles an hour and there were only 2 cars on the road and it was in Ohio.
That's a car. This is a vehicle.
Oh, there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyway.
Intro. So, Mary Ward, born Mary King, arrived in the world. She wasn't born, she arrived in the world on April 27th, 1827 in, oh, these are Irish words.
Yeah.
Ballion County. Wait, it's not Ballion. Ballion's the name of the town?
I think
County
so.
Offaly?
The like city
Offaly?
This really confused me.
They might have been growing up in a place called Offaly. She's from Ireland.
I'm like, it's like being in city Charleston, county Charleston.
Yeah. But she was the youngest of 4 children in her family that surprisingly actually valued academics and was quite wealthy. Her family environment, though constrained by Victorian gender norms, was unusually supportive of her scientific inclinations.
So most girls at the time received like a basic home education focused like entirely on managing a household and securing a good marriage. If you've listened to us for a while, you kind of get the gist of this. So, but anyway, Mary was a little different. Her parents, particularly her father, was the Reverend Harry King, and he encouraged her early and intense love of natural history and astronomy.
Harry or Henry?
Henry. Did I say Harry?
You said Harry.
Oh, my bad. Well, Henry King.
It's okay, they all sound the same.
Yeah, so since she was 3 years old, she was already, like, interested in nature. She began her lifelong hobby of collecting and studying insects at this time.
I remember when I was little, my parents got me a microscope kit, and they had like tweezers and like all of like the little vials and stuff for you to go around and collect insects.
Cool.
I would go around and collect everything. I thought it was so cool. Then all of a sudden, my stuff started disappearing. I was like, where are they going? My mom started using it for sewing kits. She started using my like specimen vials to store needles and like tweezers to like thread like the thread through the needle.
That's actually crazy.
I know. She was like, Merry Christmas, and then
took your things.
Yes. Mother. Anyways, back to Mary. So Mary was lucky to be related to one of the most prominent scientific families in Ireland, the Parsons. Her first cousin, William Parson, the 3rd Earl of Ross, I think it's Ross.
Ross sounds right.
Ross was a world-famous astronomer and a former president of the Royal Society. He was the driving force behind the construction of the Leviathan of Parsonstown, a reflecting telescope with a 6-foot mirror that was the largest in the world for over 7 decades. Insane. So, look, you can see that her family played a big role in supporting her scientific career by, like, influencing her and, like, giving her the ability to, like, actually do her scientific stuff.
Yes. So, Mary was almost always at Bird Castle, which is her cousin's home, and she became like super involved with the giant project, aka the telescope. So she didn't just observe, but she like recorded and like wrote down everything she saw. She made a series of like little detailed sketches of the telescope's construction at like every single stage of like building it. So these illustrations were so like technically accurate that they were later used as a crucial guide for engineers during the Leviathan's major restoration in the mid 1990s, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that's such a like jump in time between when she existed and when they restored it.
And she was drawing the stuff at like what, 15 maybe. So that's crazy.
I could never.
That's crazy. So yeah, she was very early on exposed to like science.
Yeah, so she's essentially creating construction blueprints for the biggest astronomical instrument in the world, while the rest of the world society was saying that women's place was exclusively in the drawing room, which would be like the modern day living room or nursery. So that's pretty cool. But her drawing schools weren't just limited to the Leviathan, the big telescope. She had a passion for the teeny tiny world too. She liked the big and she liked the small.
Okay, so she had a fascination with like the itty bitty world, and that kind of led her to like a big turning moment in her life. So this guy named Sir James South, he was an English astronomer visiting, and he saw her drawing insects using just a magnifying glass. He was so impressed by the precision and scientific detail of her sketches that he immediately convinced her father to purchase her a state-of-the-art compound microscope from one of London's top instrument makers named Andrew Ross. So this was like a really big financial investment. The price tag was about 48,120 shillings and 8 pence, which was...
You cannot forget the 8 pence.
Apparently not.
You cannot forget the 8 pence.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know, and I was trying to find out like the equivalents of like a shilling and a pence to like...
I think a pence is like 5 cents.
Yeah, it's like apparently not that much.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this total amount at the time was equivalent to like a year's wage for a skilled worker. Like, of course her family is wealthy, so it doesn't really matter to them the way that it would for like a normal average person.
Probably definitely like still a big investment, but like...
It's like buying a car.
Yeah.
But so it's probably like, in today money, maybe like 25K, maybe a little bit more.
That's insane.
Yeah, for a microscope.
Yeah. Another thing that like blows my mind is like when people are able to like draw something just by like looking at it.
Oh yeah.
And like, cause like whenever I quote unquote draw, I can't draw, but whenever I try, I need to like look at a picture and I need to like stare at the picture and like trace it and like have things side by side to like compare and to draw. So like when I imagine people drawing and painting back in the days before cameras existed, I'm thinking that like, you know, like when the people sit for their portraits, they're sitting for hours, which is a thing. People did sit for their portraits for hours, but like a bug is there 1 second and then it flies away the next. Like you can't make the bug sit for like hours.
I wonder because she was putting them under microscopes and magnifying glasses.
Oh, she killed them.
Yeah, I don't think they were living.
Oh, I'm imagining her sitting on the ground with her microscope, just like looking at and then like drawing with one hand. That's awkward.
Like
R.I.P. bugs.
Or maybe it was like a beetle because then she could like...
Yeah.
They don't go super fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mary and her microscope, they became besties. Mary loves her microscope. A girl's best friend is not diamonds. A girl's best friend was her microscope. But because she was a woman, she was not allowed to attend university or join any scientific societies. So what did Mary do? She simply did her own scientific studies. She taught herself everything about microscopy. She read every book and every scientific paper that she could get her hands on.
So, glass slides were like difficult to come by in rural Ireland, so she began to make her own specimen slides using tiny pieces of ivory. She also prepared her own specimens, which is kind of difficult and can take a lot of patience, but like, yeah, when we were talking about the bugs, she probably captured the bug, unalived the bug, and then probably pinned it.
I know. I'm imagining like, yes, like specimens take a lot of time to prepare, but also making slides of ivory.
That's even worse.
Like, is she cutting the ivory, like shaving it super thin? Because those have to be insanely fragile.
I assume so.
Crazy.
Yeah, so she used ivory because it was easier to find than glass, which allowed her to like obviously like put her specimens on it and keep it like flat for when she put it in the microscope. So she was so talented in this regard that one of the era's most famous physicists, Sir David Brewster, the inventor of the kaleidoscope and a renowned optical scientist, actually tried to hire her. I think he did hire her. Yeah.
There are optical scientists.
At the time, this is what they were.
What's an optical scientist?
Like looking at things using your optics.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A microscope, telescope, kaleidoscope. That's an optic.
Okay. Interesting. So, Brewster frequently asked her to prepare his microscope specimens and incorporated her scientific drawings into many of his own publications and papers. She was creating museum-quality specimens and super detailed instructions from basically an at-home lab. She would even host what she called microscopal, I think, shows with her friends and family and the estate workers. She was basically doing an early form of public science outreach, so she was like low-key educating her community, which like say, I love science museums.
Mm-hmm. Her reputation grew to such an extent that despite the official exclusions at the time, she was unofficially integrated into the highest circles of British and Irish science. She was one of only 3 women, along with Queen Victoria and scientist Mary Somerville, on the mailing list for the Royal Astronomical Society's prestigious publications. So this gave her access to the most recent and cutting-edge research and validated her as a reputable person in the science world.
Unfortunately, she couldn't focus solely on her scientific interests. Due to the crushing domestic demands of being a Victorian wife and mother, she could only do science in spare moments, which were hard to find. Because in 1854, she married Henry Ward. This is a different Henry from before.
Yeah, other Henry was her dad. Henry King was her dad.
This is Henry Ward. Everyone's named Mary. Everyone's named Henry. So confusing. But anyways, she and Henry, her husband Henry, went on to have 8 children in an extremely short time span. This reminds me of Nora Smith. I feel like that woman is always pregnant.
Oh my gosh, she's always popping out a little one.
Like, girl, are you okay? Is your coochie okay?
They're the way they name their children fascinates me.
Whimsy Lou? They're gonna rename the next one Kaleidoscope.
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 Actually, I feel like she'd eat that up. She'd be like, come here, she'd name it Callie as the nickname.
It's like when people are I'm gonna name my kid May, short for mayonnaise.
Yeah. It's a great pet name, but a human name.
I could low-key see Liv naming her kid May as short for mayonnaise. I don't know, it's the vibe that she gives.
I don't think she'd actually do it. She can be serious sometimes.
Anyways, so husband Henry resigned his army commission and was not earning a regular income. So Mary and Henry's financial situation was a little questionable, forcing Mary to become the primary financial contributor through her intellect. She was the breadwinner. She was so smart that he said, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna be a house husband. You got it, queen.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if he encouraged her to do this, or it was just kind of who knows. But anyway, so she did what any resourceful person would do in her place, and she had a little bit of a dowry, but it wasn't anything crazy to obviously support 8 children.
But I thought she was rich.
Yeah, but I don't think her family was supporting her like that.
I see.
Yeah, they were here's your microscope, here's your cousins, good luck.
That's it.
You
will be good at microscope.
And I'm pretty sure they set her up with an estate.
I see. So I see. The dowry was the microscope.
I don't think she would have minded it, honestly. But yeah, so she took all of her mental resources and she wrote a book. So she published her first book titled Sketches with the Microscope, and it was privately printed in 1857. She did this, she made it private because she genuinely doubted that a London publisher would take a woman's science book seriously. So she printed a small batch of 250 copies, and she advertised the book herself through like handbills or like pamphlets, I guess.
She was like, not free books. Buy my books! Buy my books! I have books of microscopes!
Have you seen? I saw this on TikTok. I saw Cardi B walking the streets in New York being like, $5 CD, buy my album.
I did not see that.
I don't know why it's been everywhere.
That's funny.
But that's what I think of.
I see. Yeah. Well, her Buy My Books was successful and actually sold out of her copies in a matter of weeks.
She was in the streets.
She was,
but not like that.
They were eating up the accessible science. She was a prostitute for knowledge. So the success of her little mini batch convinced a London publisher, Groombridge and Sons.
That's so British.
Groombridge and Sons to buy the copyright. They re-released it in 1858 as A World of Wonders Revealed by the Microscope. That sounds like something from Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah.
But it was an immediate hit. People loved it. They were like, wow, tiny things we can see now? Pretty. It was so popular. It went through like 8 editions between 1858 and 1880.
So not only did she make this first successful book, she wrote various others that were also popular, including Telescope Teachings in 1859, which featured her famous illustrations of the Leviathan telescope and a more comprehensive guide to microscopes called Microscope Teachings. Very original.
Microscope.
In 1864. And then she also co-authored Entomology in Sport and Entomology in Earnest in 1857 with Lady Jane Mahon. Her writing style...
Wait, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What does it mean by entomology in sport? Like bugs flying?
Oh, girl, I don't know.
I know entomology is like the study of bugs.
Yeah. What does entomology in earnest mean?
Like, are the bugs playing the Olympics? How are they in sport?
Maybe she like poses them and like to play soccer or something.
Oh my
you know what I mean?
goodness.
I have no idea.
Because I feel like entomology in earnest would be just like bugs like naturally.
Treat the bug.
But like entomology in sport is giving the Olympics.
It's just Bug's Life.
Bugs Life. That movie used to scare me as a kid. I didn't like it.
Oh.
And the one where the guy turned into an ant. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, I don't remember.
But he got like shrunk because he was being mean to the ants.
Oh my god! I think it's literally Ant-Man, bro.
That's not Ant-Man.
No?
There's no way that's Ant-Man.
I remember watching that movie.
Shrinking kid ant.
A brief pause. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Oh, it's the ant bully? That would make sense.
The ant bully.
It was the ant bully.
Yes.
Yeah, that kid was such a...
Also, the animation of it was just like creepy.
Yeah.
Respect your ants.
I kind of want to watch that movie now.
Human and animal.
Yes. Okay. Back to Mary. So her writing style is what kind of set her apart. It was accessible, highly visual, and specifically aimed at amateur scientists, women, and children even. So she would use like very vivid words and metaphors and such to describe like the magnified objects. Like for instance, she said that a magnified dragonfly's eye looked like a series of beautiful hexagons, or the tiny center of a verbena flower was like a tiara of pearls.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It is pretty. I did have to Google what a verbena flower was. But yeah, it kind of looks like that. We'll throw a little picture if you're on YouTube.
Verbena flower? Verbena flower.
Mm-hmm. So her simple, direct language made her like low-key a hero to the everyday average people with an interest for science.
She was the Abe Lincoln of microscopes, but a woman.
And bugs.
So her books were so popular that 2 of them were selected to be displayed at the 1862 International Exhibition at the Crystal Palace in London. Mary Ward became the first woman to publish a widely available popular book on the microscope, establishing herself as a leading figure in popular science, writing for a general audience, and this was all achieved without a formal degree, without a professional lab, and without external funding. Not to mention, she was still taking care of 8 little gremlins.
I don't know how she did anything.
Yeah, I feel like... No, those kids would be going to the nearest boarding house. So sorry. Goodbye.
Okay, on a more serious note. But as often happens with figures of history, her extraordinary life and accomplishments are tragically overshadowed by the unusual and honestly really sad circumstances of her death. So Mary Ward was a lover of new technology, which makes sense, she was big on science. But this would include the brand new steam-powered road carriages that were 100% still in their very early experimental phase. Her cousins, the Parson boys, were building and testing them.
So these were early unstable machines, like very far from what our modern car looks like. So I jumped the gun because my external, as often happens, my external knowledge just pops into my brain.
When I heard motor vehicle accident, I thought car too.
Yeah.
Or very similar to it.
I mean, like, I'm unaware of
what else would it be?
What else a motor vehicle is.
Yeah.
But these were like steam-powered tricycles with massive iron wheels.
Didn't even have 4 wheels, bro.
Just three. She was a tricycle. But on August 31st, 1869, at the age of 42, she was riding one of these prototypes near Burr Castle. In the tricycle vehicle thing, it was her husband, her cousins, Richard and Charles, who were only 15, and her cousins' tutors. The cousins were the ones driving it. Don't know why you would trust a 15-year-old to do something like that, but...
No. I think Richard was a little older, but I don't know how old.
Were they the ones that were, like, experimenting, like, trying to create it?
Uh-huh.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. They were the inventors.
Ah, I see.
So this is kind of ironic. So Charles, who's 15 now, or at the time of this happening, would later become a well-known engineer. He's known for inventing the steam turbine, which is like a crazy, like, important piece of technology that literally powered the entire industrial world. But that day, he was just a teenager, and he was driving a low-key, very, 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 very dangerous new machine. So the car, which was only going about, how fast did you think it was going before?
25 miles an hour.
It was going maybe 4. Maybe 4 miles.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like max. That was like, you know how your car goes up to like 120? This thing went up to 4.
Oh!
Crazy. It's crazy. But, so they went around like a tight little bend, a little corner, if you will, near St. Brendan's Church, and then it hit a bump in the road and it jolted violently.
So you can imagine, because they didn't have like cars, they had horse-drawn carriages. They didn't really also have roads. Like, they weren't paved by any means.
Yeah.
So like Charleston, Savannah, any of like your very like historical cities have like bumpy cobblestone roads. That's kind of how you could imagine those roads were. So Mary was thrown from her seat, which had no restraints or safety rails, and tragically fell directly under the path of one of the very heavy iron wheels. She was crushed, suffering a broken neck and a fractured jaw, and died almost instantaneously. The driver, her cousin, Charles Parson, was unable to stop this steam carriage in time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused how, like, because I'm imagining it's like a carriage the same way like horse-drawn carriages are, but maybe like it's open, like kind of the way the ones in New York are.
Yeah.
So if you're falling out of it, how do you fall directly underneath it?
Maybe because I'm imagining that maybe it's like 3 wheels, so maybe she got jolted forward.
Oh.
And then one of the back 2 wheels ran her over.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if it even had brakes, low-key.
Probably didn't.
Like, it was probably put in a piece of coal, wait till the coal goes bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I don't know. But yeah. Also, I can't imagine being Charles and, like, continuing to be an engineer after that. But
yeah.
So, yeah, that moment sealed her very unfortunate place in history. Most people know her as this and for nothing else. Mary Ward is remembered today as the world's first ever known fatality involving a motor vehicle. She's even in the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's kind of crazy.
That was one of the first sources that showed up when I was searching this. I was like, genuine, I didn't even know how to react. But yeah, so obviously this became a highly publicized event. It showed the potential dangers of this new unregulated technology. No brake, no door, no seatbelt, no nothing, no 4th wheel. You get the idea.
So the coroner, John Corcoran, reportedly said this must never happen again. The death of such an accomplished and well-known woman put a damper on the new automotive business. Put a damper. I think you put a little bit more of a damper.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say this in like a professional.
Economically, it was not great.
To say the least.
The Parsons were so devastated by the tragedy that they allegedly dismantled the steam car and buried it on the grounds of Bird Castle. Did they bury her with her microscope? I really hope they buried her with her microscope.
No.
Oh. That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the microscope probably could have been used for, like, this was her microscope, and then they, like, used it later on.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The microscope outlives. So, Mary shouldn't be remembered solely by what ended her life. Mary Ward was an artist, a naturalist, an astronomer, and a microscopist who managed to educate a generation about the wonders of natural world through her beautiful and self-illustrated books. Today, you can still see her microscope.
Wow,
which is called
I'm being telepathic today.
Yeah.
I didn't read this beforehand at all, and I don't know how I'm jumping all this.
I mean, it's a reasonable question because she left her microscope to pieces. But yeah.
She became pieces. So sorry, Mary.
But yeah, so her Ross microscope is referred to as the Ross microscope after who originally built it. You can also see her handmade ivory slides and her scientific notebooks on display in a room dedicated to her legacy at Castle Ward in Country Down.
Why didn't they call it Mary's microscope? Why do they call it the Ross microscope? Why can't they call it the Mary microscope?
Because he was like one of the first creators of like the compound microscope or whatever. So it was
I don't get.
I mean, it's Mary's Ross microscope.
It's like the model is Ross.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
I see. That's really cool though, and really sad.
Yeah, that's crazy. I imagine what more she could have done if she lived past 40.
Yeah.
42 is early.
Yeah. Although in the like 1800s,
yeah,
she's probably like considered
that's true.
elderly. But still, I
she
feel like
survived the births of eight children.
You know what? You're right. If she survived the birth of 8 children during that time period, she probably could have done a whole lot more. But
yeah. Well, anyway,
next time you look at your microscope,
think of Mary.
Think of Mary, and think of how you could be drawing better,
and how that you should wear a seatbelt in your car.
The end.